بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Qur'an and the Jews of the Qur'an. We have reached Surah Al-Ghashiyah, which is another name for the day of judgment. Imam Al-Ghazali, 4 verses, 17 to the themes that we have in this surah have been mentioned in many other surahs. A reminder of the day of judgment, state of people during that day, those who will be destined for hellfire, their torture, with some more description about their drink and food, of course, part of the punishment, just to as a reminder, and also those who are destined for paradise. What I see as particular, though, the story of creation or creation in general, not only that is mentioned in the Quran in ample verses, but also Imam Ghazali himself time and again chose such verses that include khalaqa yakhluqu. Here, and it's about the camels. أَفَلَا يَنظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Do they not ever reflect on camels, how they were created, meaning that there is something unique, magnificent, remarkable, a sign, really. So it invites people to think a little bit. I'm sure those nomads who have had camels for a long time, they know a lot about camels, practically. And then there is reference to the universe, the sky, the mountains, the earth. It's a reminder, and ultimately, it's not up to the Prophet ﷺ. His role is to remind people about faith, about the message, about the articles of faith, the temporality of this life, that there is a day of reckoning, but it's not up to the Prophet ﷺ to make them or force them to believe, and ultimately, surely humanity at large, every single one, will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will be held accountable. Now into some details, and inshallah we will reach the verse 17, these 4 verses, but verse 17, and we'll speak a little bit more about camels. The surah begins with a reminder about the Al-Ghashiyah, another name for the Day of Judgment, because the هل أتاك حديث الغاشية أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم هل أتاك حديث الغاشية has the news of the overwhelming event تغشى الناس, it will almost like as if they are covered, because for example, if you talk about any ghisha, then there is something almost like a layer, almost like a thin film that is, and here talking about using any cover to cover any area, anything, but in this case it's metaphorically speaking, it when the night falls, it covers everyone. Darkness is overwhelming, and the same thing for all those who are in that area. So when the day judgment comes, it will reach far and wide. It will not. It will encompass every part of this universe, overwhelming, reaching every single person, every corner of the universe, and it will affect um, the material world, and the human beings, animals, plants. Every single thing will be affected by the unfolding of the day of judgment. On that day, some faces will be downcast, وجوه يومئذ خاشعة, totally overburdened, exhausted, حاملة ناصبة. What about them? Burning in a scorching fire, تصلى نارا حامية, تسقى من عين آنية, left to drink from a scalding spring. Remember elsewhere in the Qur'an. So they will have it's not a matter of choice for them to drink from a boiling drink. Not only a boiling drink, but it stinks. It tastes awful. They have no choice but to drink from it, and it will devastate. It will cut through their intestines. They will be like their skins being burned by hellfire, and their skins will be changed. Like it will be replaced. So time and again they will have new skin, because that's really where the nerves are, and this is where people feel the pain. In terms of food, they will have no food except a foul, thorny shrub. ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع. Neither nourishing nor satisfying hunger. لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع. So there's a warning. Day of judgment. That's how it begins. What about it? It's going to be either hellfire or paradise. This surah began with mentioning those who are destined for hellfire. Their drink, their food, it's not going to satisfy their need for food, nor is going to quench the drink will not quench their thirst, and they will time and again consume the boiling drink and the stinking food. Harsh. Talk about since we talk about a thorny shrub. Subhanallah, since camels are mentioned in this surah, camels have no problem eating thorny plants, very thorny plants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled the camels to eat these thorny plants. Not much grows in the desert anyhow. On that day, other faces will be glowing with bliss. Now we move to the righteous people who are destined to paradise. They are fully pleased with their striving. Fully pleased with their striving. They did strive in this life. Remember that this life is a farm, like a fertile land where you can plant the seeds for the hereafter. الدنيا مزرعة الآخرة. This is where you plant your good deeds, and you'll harvest. Your harvest will be in the hereafter. There are things that you can harvest in one short season, long season, but still there are trees that will yield fruits like walnuts. It takes few years before they start yielding the fruit, the walnut itself. So different periods in this life, but the ultimate your deeds will have an impact on your life here, but the real harvest, the ultimate result, will be on the day of judgment. And here we have those righteous, virtuous, believing women and men whose faces will be glowing with bliss. نورهم يسعى بين أيديهم. Their light, they are light is emanating from their faces. It's not. We don't talk about light in the sense of you see some people and you will feel immediately their spiritual energy. You will feel immediately their beautiful presence, that they bring positive energy to the place where they come. You feel comfortable immediately with them. I think it's those people who have strived hard on the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pure in the true sense, pure hearts. That purification, that tazkiyah is the most beautiful thing. So it reflects on them. It reflects on them. I remember الأرواح جنود مجندة ما تعرف منها ائتلف وما تنافر منها اختلف. The souls of people are like enlisted. Here, Junud, one might say soldiers, but really they are enlisted. Though they have those who are those souls that belong to good people, they get along, and those that are at odds with each other, they will have disputes, differences, no common ground, if you will. So we have these faces that will be glowing with bliss, a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لسعيها راضية, fully pleased with their striving in an elevated garden, في جنة عالية. And you get the sense that the paradise will be up there and hellfire will be down there. This is why the people of the hellfire would ask, before a wall is erected between them, they will ask for water from the people of paradise, and they would not be able to do that. But they said أفيضوا علينا من الماء. So they are in a lower position for that. For the had it taken place, then it would be like pouring from a higher place to a lower place. But it's عالية also in terms of status. Some of the things, and I love the لا تسمع فيها لاغية, where no idle talk will be heard. لغو, it's just simply blah blah blah. It's just like people find it easy to engage in profanities and idle talk and gossips and backbiting, and worse if they create fake news. Imam Al-Ghazali mentions 20 banes of the tongue, 20 ills that the tongue is capable of performing. And remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, and the hereafter, the day of judgment, should say something good or be silent. فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. Paradise has no place for these kinds of talks. which might also give us a glimpse. Happy is the person who can get rid of these 20 veins of the tongue. There is an Andalusian scholar who listed more than 90 veins of the tongue, ills that human being is capable. Probably also dividing some of these veins into sub categories. In paradise, فيها عين جارية. In it will be a running spring, along with thrones raised high. فيها سرر مرفوعة. Thrones, beds, couches, and cups set at hand. وأكواب موضوعة. ونمارق مصفوفة, and fine cushions lined up. وزرابي مبثوثة, and splendid carpets spread out. Now we reach, that's really a description of the state of people of paradise. And of course, always get all the other verses and all the traditions to have a full picture, but remembering at the same time that they're in paradise what no eye has ever seen, no ear has even heard, and no heart, things that have never crossed any heart. And now verse 17, أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت. Do they not ever reflect on camels and how they were created? Of course, mastery, a miracle. There's reference to the sky, how it was raised, to the mountains, how they were set up, to the land, how it is to land to earth, our blob, how it was leveled out, smooth, made habitable. Camels, probably the only animals that mate in a crouching position. And camels are also, since we talk about creation and their creation, it might also be alluding to their physiognomy. The camels have special eyelashes, and remember they go through the desert and sandstorms, and camels can eat these thorny shrubs or easily, subhanallah. This is how they were created. They can handle heat. They don't sweat a lot. This is why they don't need much water. They can, in scorching heat of, let's say, about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, they can stay without water for about 5 days. During winter, when it's cool, and there's absolutely no need to talk about scorching heat, and they can stay for without water, meaning that no drinking for 5 days. But if it's really winter time, they can stay for 6-7 months without drinking water. But of course, they will have some moist from the green things that they eat, and that's quite a long time. It is obvious that the physiology of the camels is unique, and this is the invitation. There are many things. Their hump can store energy. It can have some. A hump can store some 80 pounds of fat, so we can also not only not drinking water, but at the same time not eating for quite some time. The ship of the desert, as it has been called, subhanallah. So أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. This is why this invitation to ponder, to think about camels. I'm sure that there are many details about the physiology of camels. Subhanallah, an amazing thing indeed. How the sky was raised in a different context in the Quran. بغير عمد ترونها. It's like without the skies in its place. It is kept in place without pillars, without material support, supporting beams that you can see. But it means also at the same time that there is something that is holding the sky in its place. Not that the sky is fixed in place. No, galaxies are moving away from each other. Galaxies rotate around their own center. Solar systems rotate surrounding, the center of their galaxies. Different ages for these galaxies, different number, still trillions of galaxies. Our solar system needs about 240 million years to complete one circle, around our own Milky Way, our own galaxy. So we do have the possibility of pondering, and all these scientific studies of the universe. They would fit very well within. You talk about geology, an amazing thing, and all of this will one day, of course, wither away. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر. Again, it asks the Prophet ﷺ to his duty is to remind people, not to compel them. Remember, in the Quran, there is no compulsion in religion. لا إكراه في الدين. Guidance, the right path, the straight path, the right way, the correct, the sound, it is apparent. It is separate from the wrong path, the path of evil, the path of disbelief. So people are, they know both. You don't compel them. Whoever turns away and persists, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inflict upon them the major punishment in hellfire. People will return surely to, here in the Quran, إِنَّ إِلَيْنَا إِيَابَهُمْ. Surely to us is their return. ثُمَّ إِنَّ عَلَيْنَا حِسَابَهُمْ. Their reckoning, their being held accountable, that surely that rests with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The next reading will be inshallah from Surah Al-Balad, and Imam Ghazali chose 3 verses from that surah. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.